Hi everyone, this is John Dickinson from Boris FX, here to give you a quick overview of some of the key features in Boris FX Title Studio. Title Studio ships with a large range of presets for various graphical looks, and these are a great place to start for your project. Now in your host you can browse the presets by clicking on FX Browser. I'm here in After Effects, and this will launch the FX Browser, and then we can browse the various categories. There's all sorts of different categories here, things like callouts and countdowns and motion titles. I'm going to come up to 3D models and click on this one down here. And now that I've found a suitable preset, I can come down here to text and type in my own custom text. Click on Insert Text and click Apply. Title Studio is available as both a standalone application and also as part of the Continuum suite of effects. Here in After Effects, we can launch Title Studio by clicking on Launch UI, and this launches the custom user interface where we can further customize the preset. So let's just make some quick changes to this. I'm just going to change the font. I'm going to choose a slightly chunkier font, Gill Sans Ultra Bold, and I'm going to just put this on 2 lines and center it and just decrease the leading. I'll also come down and turn off the 3D sphere and just adjust the color. So I'll change the text color first, come up to controls, just change this to a blue and come down to the 3D cyc and change this to a blue as well. So starting with a preset and then making customizations is a great way to save time, but you can also build your own custom looks from scratch if you prefer, using a variety of features. Title Studio's text tool is resolution independent and gives you full control over the font type. I'm going to select Health and choose a script style font. This one here, Sagio Script. And there are various typesetting tools, things like tracking, kerning, and leading. I'm just going to adjust the kerning by clicking in between the letters, holding down the Alt or Option key on Mac, and just pressing the left arrow key, just to close up that space. These kind of tools are very important for creating professional looking text. And I can also select all of the text and change things like the fill. I can choose a gradient if I wanted. I can also add multiple different text strokes. I've got a green one set up here. And also multiple drop shadows. Here I've also got a green drop shadow. And if I come down here and click on the scene container, I can add a few master scale keyframes and create the perfect title. As well as vector text, Title Studio also allows you to create various vector shapes. One way to add shapes is to come down to the New Media menu and choose Spline Primitive. This adds a new rectangle spline into the composite view. If I click on Texture, up here in the controls are various different shapes that you can choose from, and each of these shapes has its own custom controls. Another way you can make custom shapes is to use the pen tool and draw directly in the composite view, or grab either the rectangle or oval tools, click and drag directly in that view. I can change the stacking order of the different splines just by clicking and dragging and moving that down below the ones I've already created. And that vector object remains editable even after you've created it. Now, no matter how good your 2D is, some clients will always want 3D. So luckily Title Studio makes 3D text easy. When you first apply Title Studio, you're presented with 3D text. So in the interface, all we have to do is click on Extrusion and adjust the extrusion amount of the text. I can adjust the bevel type, maybe choosing convex, and also the bevel amount. Come over to my material styles and double click to add a material. Click on Controls. I want to add more than one material, so I'm going to choose Apply Material 2. This allows me to put a material on the extrusion. Come back to Material Styles and come down to, say, Polished Metal. Twirl open my layer, click on Extrusion Material, and double-click the new material. We also have full control over the lights and camera just by clicking on the scene container and clicking on Lights. I'm using one light here, but you can choose a total of 3 different lights, and also various different camera model options. If I choose Orbit, for example, then I can spin around the text, and I can do things like tumble the text. And of course, all of this can be animated. The various 2D vector shapes in Title Studio can also be extruded in 3D, and I can do that by coming down to the New Shape menu and choosing Extrusion. You can see that adds a new extruded rectangle to the scene. I'll click on Rectangle, and now I have access to all the various shapes up here in my controls. I'm going to choose Star and just increase the point count. Click on the star, come over to my extrusion, and just give it a little more extrusion. Give it a convex bevel type, and add a material. If you'd like to use a 3D model, Title Studio accepts both OBJ and Cinema 4D files. And you can start with one of the 3D model presets in the FX browser, or you can click on the Add New Media menu and choose 3D Model File. Navigate to your file and double-click. Come up to the Material Styles and double-click to add a material. If you want to convert the model into separate objects, just come up to the Track menu and choose Convert to Container. And then you can add separate materials to all of the separate objects. And something else to note is that with Cinema 4D files, Title Studio will recognize some of the basic material settings. We've already seen how you can texture your 3D objects using one of the various material shaders. For example, if I select this front material and double-click Blemish Silver, we can add this nice blemish silver to the front face of our text. And if I now select the scene container, I get access to other shaders which include deformers and image processors. Under deformers, there's various options. Let's add a bend, taper, twist deformer. And here in the controls, I can increase the bend strength. And these are really great for adding character to your 3D objects. Once again, select the container, and this time under image processors, I'm going to add light rays. And for this, under source color, I'm going to choose source image. That's going to colorize the rays based on the colors of the materials. I'm going to use edge rays and also apply this behind. So it's handy to be able to add these kind of image processors directly in Title Studio without having to go into the host. Animating multiple text layers in Title Studio is made much easier using the Auto Animation styles. I've got a setup here where I've got a number of different text layers, and all I have to do is click on the container, and up here in the controls, choose from one of the animation styles. There's various things like rolls, crawls, fades, zoom, shuffle, and type on. If I choose roll, you can see that positions all of my text, adds keyframes. All I have to do is press play. If I prefer to use a crawl, just choose it and it replaces the previous keyframes, and then I can fine-tune and position that text as I need. So this makes normally laborious tasks like rolls and crawls much easier. Okay, so that's just a quick overview of some of the key features of Title Studio. So why not just take a moment now and download a free trial version and check out what Title Studio can do for you in your projects.